Matilda Marie Felixovna Kschessinska was a Russian ballerina from a family of Polish origin. Her father Felix Kschessinski and her brother both danced in St. Petersburg. She eventually attained the highest rank, that of prima ballerina assoluta. She was also a mistress of the future Tsar Nicholas II of Russia. She was known in the West as Mathilde Kschessinska or Mathilde Kschessinska. Early life. Kschessinska was born at Ligovo, near Peterhof. Like all her Polish family, to whom she was known as Mathilde Kschessinska, Matilda performed at the Imperial Mariinsky Theatre of St. Petersburg with the renowned Imperial Ballet. Kschessinska made her debut in a pas de deux from La Female Garde during a graduation performance in 1890 attended by Emperor Alexander III. The rest of the imperial family, including the future Nicholas II, at the post-performance supper, Tsar Alexander sought out the young Kschessinska and told her to be the glory and adornment of our ballet, prima ballerina. In 1896, she obtained the rank of prima ballerina of the St. Petersburg Imperial Theatres. The old maestro Petipa did not consent to its granting to Kschessinska, and although she possessed an extraordinary gift as a dancer, she obtained it primarily via her prestige at the Imperial Russian court. Relationship with Petipa. Petipa allowed Kschessinska to create only a small number of new roles, as he considered the Italian Pierina Legnani to be the superior ballerina. Although she was able to command top billing in theatre programs or on posters, her efforts to obtain more new roles were thwarted by Petipa, whose authority over the artistic direction of the Imperial Ballet was not challenged even by the emperor himself. Among the few roles Kschessinska created were Flora in La Rivale de Flore and Columbine in Harlequinade. She also became the first Russian dancers to master the 32 Fouettes Tournant of Legnani. Although Petipa had a great respect for Kschessinska as a dancer, he thoroughly despised her as a person, referring to her in his diaries as "that nasty little swine." Even so, he chose her for the lead roles in many of the final revivals of his older masterworks, often devising intricate choreography for her to execute. The Shade of Mada in Mada, Queen Nizia in Le Roi Candor, the goddess Thetis in Les Aventures de L'Equute, Aspasia in The Pharaoh's Daughter, the title role in La Esmeralda, and Nikia in La Bayadere. Such roles became notoriously difficult once Petipa revised them for Kschessinska. In 1899, Prince Serge Wolkonsky became director of the Imperial Theatres. Although he held the position only until 1902, he achieved a great deal. Sergei Diaghilev was his immediate assistant, and Wolkonsky entrusted him with the publication of the Annual of the Imperial Theatres in 1900. During this period, new names appeared in the theatres, such as painters Alexander Benoit, Konstantin Somov, and Elia Kuto-Bakst. However, Wolkonsky was forced to send in his resignation after clashing with Kschessinska when she refused to wear the panniers of an 18th-century costume. In the ballet La Camargo, Scandals and Rumors, the future Tsar Kschessinska had been involved with the future Nicholas II from 1890, when he was a Grand Duke and she was just 17. Having met him in the presence of his family after her graduation performance, the relationship continued for 3 years, until Nicholas married Princess Alex of Hesse-Darmstadt, the future Empress Alexandra Fyodorovna, in 1894. Shortly after the death of his father, Tsar Alexander, 2 Grand Dukes' scandals and rumors around her name developed and persisted as she engaged in a sexual relationship with 2 Grand Dukes of the Romanov family, Sergei Mikhailovich and his cousin Andrei Vladimirovich. In 1902, she gave birth to a son, Vladimir. He was later titled HSH. Prince Romanovsky-Krasinski, but said that he never knew for sure who his father was. Coaching of Pavlova. While Kschessinska could be charming and kind to colleagues, such as the young Tamara Karsavina, She was not afraid to use her connections with the Tsar to strengthen her position in the imperial theaters. She was known to sew valuable jewels into her costumes and came on stage as the Princess Aspasia in The Pharaoh's Daughter wearing her diamond-encrusted tiaras and chokers. She could also be ruthless with rivals. One of her most famous miscalculations occurred when, while pregnant in 1902, she coached Anna Pavlova in the role of Nikia in La Bayadère. She considered Pavlova to be technically weak and believed that the other ballerina could not upstage her. Instead, audiences became enthralled with the frail, long-limbed, ethereal-looking Pavlova, and a star was born. Chickens on stage. Another notorious incident occurred in 1906 when Kschessinskaya's coveted role of Lise in the Petipa, Ivanov production of La Fille Malgarde was given to Olga Preobrazhenska. One feature of this production was the use of live chickens on stage. Before Preobrazhenska's variation in the pas de Rubin of the first act, Kschessinskaya opened the doors to the chickens' coops and, at the first note of the music, the chickens went flying about the stage. Nevertheless, Preobrazhenska continued her variation to the end and received a storm of applause, much to Kschessinskaya's chagrin. Finances. Through her aristocratic connections, she managed to amass much valuable property in the Russian capital. It was from the balcony of her elegant house that Vladimir Lenin addressed the revolutionary crowd when he returned from Switzerland in 1917. Moved to France. After the Russian Revolution, Kschessinska moved first to the French Riviera and then to Paris, where she married, in 1921, one of the Tsar's cousins, Grand Duke Andrei Vladimirovich of Russia, the possible father of her son Vova. Although Kschessinska's life in Paris was modest compared with the lavish life she had enjoyed in Russia, she lived unhappily for over 50 years. In 1925, Mathilde converted from Catholicism to Russian Orthodoxy and took the name Maria. In 1929, she opened her own ballet school, where she taught such students as Dame Margot Fontaine, Dame Milicia Markova, Andrei Eglevsky, Tatiana Ryabushinska, Tamara Tumanova and Maurice Béjart. She performed for the last time at the age of 64, for a charity event with the Royal Ballet at Covent Garden. In 1960, she published an autobiography entitled Souvenirs de la Kschessinska. In later years, she suffered financial difficulties but remained indomitable. She died in Paris, 8 months short of her 100th birthday. Gallery. Kschessinskaya costumed as the Princess Aspasia in the underwater scene from Petipa's The Pharaoh's Daughter, 1898. Kschessinskaya costumed for the Panderas in Petipa's Raymonda, 1900. Kschessinskaya costumed as the Princess Aspasia in the Grand Pas des Chasseresses from Act 1 of Petipa's The Pharaoh's Daughter, 1898. Kschessinskaya costumed as Flora in Petipa's La Réveil de Flore, 1905. Kschessinskaya costumed as the goddess Nirati in the Grand Pas des Fleurs from Act 2 of Nikolai Legate's revival of Petipa's The Talisman, 1909. Autobiography. HSH. The Princess Romanovsky-Krasinski. Dancing in Petersburg, London, 1960-1973. SAS. La Princessa Romanovsky-Krasinski Souvenirs de la Kschessinska, Paris, 1960.